Good morning and welcome back to the channel, people. It's your boy Ducato, and we back with another one for y'all head tops. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and drop a comment in the video for me after the below. We got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of updates. I've been MIA. I've been turning up with the peoples. I've been getting litty, but it's back now. We get back to a regularly scheduled program, and that's Manchester United. Now, what's going on is as followed. We just signed Ederson from Atalanta in a deal initially worth 35 million up front with about 3 to 4 million in add-ons. So under 40 M's for a destroyer, box-to-box midfielder, a player that can do multiple different positions, we gotta take and we'll accept that. That's number one. Number two, we're now linked with a player in Matheus Fernandes from West Ham. Now, it's been reported that West Ham wants upwards of $80 million just because of the financial, I guess, reassurances that they have to get through with their team being relegated now. So that's number one. Number two is we're also heavily and potentially linked with other players, i.e. Elliot Anderson, even though Nottingham Forest wants more than what West Ham paid for Declan Rice, which is at 105 million. I've been on the record as saying I don't think he's worth that money. I personally don't agree. I personally don't think he's worth that money. But in the same breath, it's a pay-to-play type of environment. So with that, I understand how that goes. You know, you got to understand how that reality hits. So that's that for me. I don't think he's worth it, but, you know, if we're going to be paying that English tax, then I can guess, sort of understand why. I think there's better profiles in his position. One name, again, Prem proven that I think comes to mind would obviously be Sandro Tonali. Now, all of these players that we're linked to, especially anything that's Prem proven, it's going to be an expensive buy. Like, you're seeing Adam Wharton now with Palace. I think Wilcox on Twitter just tweeted that Palace is demanding £100 million now because they made a European competition. It's like, Adam Wharton for $100 million. When is he ever worth that penny? But you just understand in today's market, that's the type of, you know, money that you're gonna have to look to spend, especially with these other English teams not wanting to sell to their direct rivals anymore, right? So that's one sad piece about it. The second piece about it that I think we as fans are not looking at is that for us to replenish, you know what I mean, what we're looking to replenish, you're seeing the kind of names that are being linked to our team, i.e. Matheus Fernandes, player, yes, he played in West Ham, but they got relegated. Ederson's from Atlanta, that's out of league, right? So you're looking at a guy in Ederson, 26 years old, going for about 35 million, which I believe is smart business because it sets a precedent in the market. We as a club are not going to overspend money. So I like that precedent, right? The other precedent that I think it sells is that as a club, we're doing our jobs and identifying the profiles needed to run said schemes, schematics, however you want to say it. You know, what I'm happy with is that, okay, we've solidified our coach as Carrick. He plays a more of an attacking style football compared to the predecessor in Ruben Amorim. So a 4-2-3-1 with the right profiles, you know, Ederson is gonna look lively. I think we might have to, and this is where my point gets back to. I think we might have to look at out of league, you know what I mean? And then maybe spend our quote unquote marquee on one Prem proven player, right? But this notion that, like, you know, everyone's gonna, you know, be able to be in this certain realm of financial structure, it's not feasible, because every club, especially English clubs, are not trying to sell their players. Like, they don't want to sell. Like, I'm not saying that they don't want to sell, but they don't want to sell to another Big Six team, not without splashing the cash, right? And then if you look at what flipping Liverpool did this last year or last summer, and breaking the summer window twice in one shot, it's just like, bruh, these teams now feel like, no, I should be able to demand 100 million for an average player that normally wouldn't even cost 40. Like, think of that inflation that we're in right now. Players that wouldn't even cost 40 10 15 years ago are going for 100 plus. And that's why I'm so scarred from it, because we've done that before. Antony, Pogba, you know, Lukaku, like those large sums of money, and like it just doesn't work out. The Dimas, the Falcaos, the Ibras, you know, to a lesser degree, again, he's always classed me class Samero, but that was also at his age, the price point. Yes, he helped us to win an FA Cup and a Carabao, but we want major rings, Prem or Champions League. We haven't been able to do that, right? The last time we were in Champions League, we got embarrassed. I'm not saying his fault. I'm just saying, as a team, as a collective, where we've been spending our money, I don't think is on the right profiles to lead us to consistent change of being better. So that is where, you know, that thought process comes from. And again, Ineos has kind of alluded to it, where it's like, listen, we're not going to be doing one crazy buy. We'd rather do multiple buys and strengthen an area, right? So we have one midfielder down. I'm hoping we're able to lock a second midfielder before World Cup starts. And again, all eyes, mouth, you know, talking points have been about a Mateus Fernandes, as it should. I think he is, as I said before on previous videos, I think he is a quality baller. I think even though he's been relegated twice, he's been on Southampton and a bummy West Ham team. I can't find fault in that, especially when the games that he's been able to help them he looked well, have been games that should have got beat down, you know what I mean? Games that should have been draws, he's been able to help them get wins, you know what I mean? And the wins have looked good when they've won really well. Yes, the losses have looked bad, but like I said, their whole team is pretty beat up. So I do like Mateus Fernandes, 21, you know, could play both-footed, has a tenacity, is very tenacious, press resistant. What else? Yeah, press resistant, can pass, can win balls back up high in the pitch. Like, he does a lot, right? And what I like about him the most is that he's versatile. He can go play the 6 if you need him. He can play the 8. He can play the 10. Like, he's versatile. And that is where I feel like if we're going to be splashing cash, then it needs to be on versatile players, man. Players that we can plug and play and they still are effective. You know what I mean? So for my midfielders, you have to be able to play at the very least, at least the 6 and the 8. You know, I know the 6 and the 8 are harder than the 10, because the 10 is just more so about creating offense. But at the same token, there's a level of flair that I want my 10 to have. Like, for example, that Bruno has when he's playing. Does he get it always right? Not really, but at the same token, he's willing to express himself and to take chances and be courageous. And that is what I want That is what I want in my like midfield. Take chances, be courageous, but also know that if you lose the ball, your ass is getting it back. You know what I'm trying to say? So, you know what I mean? I say all of that because there's a lot of interest. I believe if we can get Matheus in the 50 to 60 million range, then I think we'll be able to do business. I've always said I don't want my team paying more than 55 million for Matheus Fernandes, and that's including add-ons as well. I don't think we need to be paying more than what that number is, truthfully, all transparency. So I'm not looking to pay more than 55 M's for that, brother. So if we can get that done in that price range, then that would be ooey gooey. What else? And yeah, man, I think, you know what I mean. And for my final point on these player stuff that we've been hearing, rumbling or word on road is we could be looking at a Rafael Leao. You know what I mean? Some are calling him a glorified Rashford. Don't know. From what I've seen, especially on AC Milan, I think he's from, has Champions League experience, has a rocket for a foot, very quick, has pace. Like I said, I don't want to call somebody a Rashford, but as long as, you know, as I said, our wingers have to be versatile, so the wingers have to be able to play defense, right? At least track back and get back on defense. Like, we're in a new age of soccer where, just like basketball too, right? Where in Jordan's era, even the early 2000s, every player fulfilled their position. So if you were a point guard, you were a point guard. If you're a 2, you're a 2. Small forward, a 3, yes. Same with the 4 and the 5. It was really rare that a power forward is running the point or a shooting guard is playing in the post. Like, it's really rare that you would have you would intermix your positions. Same thing with soccer. You know, if you're in a striker, similar to like you're a 9, like you won't go on the left wing, or, you know, if you're left wing, you're not gonna be playing mid and so on and so forth, right? But in today's sport age now, with, you know, expectations of what a player is and what they do, I see a lot of it now where it's like, hey, if a player is not versatile and able to stretch the floor and play multiple positions, then like, what are we really doing, or what is this player really doing? Is this player really worth the hype, and so on and so forth, right? So that's just the one caveat that I want to say now with the players that we're looking at, or that I want my club to be looking at. I want them looking at players that are versatile. You know, look at a position and then ask yourself, what is the maximum effort in this position? What does this position require? So if you're a left or a right winger, are you just looking to attack, like just attack and be in the offense like Garnacho, or are you gonna track back, help your fullbacks? You know what I mean? Be that extra body in midfield for link-up play, create those overloads, right? So that's what I look at as well, and you know what I mean? Those are the upgrades and the tweaks that I want our team to look at. But if we're looking at it right now, as I said before, Ederson, we got locked through the door. Matheus Fernandes being 21 years old and on a contract at 2030, if we can get that done in the 50 to 60 million price range, fantastic bit of business. And I'm just hoping we can lock it in before World Cup. Like, we got us. Like, I love the pace at which we're going with our transfer activity. So I just want us to be able to like lock that up. And then once we say we can lock up Matheus Fernandes, then we can look at, you know, I would hope at least the left back or center back position, because we damn sure need one of those, man. Either a center back or a left back. But yeah, that's it for me in the video. Let me know y'all thoughts. Let me know what's good. As I said before, turn on your notifications, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment in the video. Tell me, what are y'all thinking? What's cracking? What's popping? Let me know below. It's your boy Ducato. We gone.